on this computer. Here we go.
Okay. Okay, I'm good. Something just fell off my, a whole stack of stuff just fell off my printer.
Perfect. We're recording.
Okay.
We're gonna go right now.
Perfect. All right.
You ready? All right.
Ready.
Welcome everybody to the latest pdxMindShare webinar. I'm here with a longtime friend and biz dev black belt ninja, if that you can say that. Lissa Forsterer is one of the best sales people I know in the agency world. She has far more experience than that she'll tell you about momentarily. But it's an honor to have you on, and I look forward to you sharing your 5 secrets. Go ahead and share your screen. I'm going to let you take it away, and at the end we'll have a quick Q&A before we wrap up. So go ahead, Lissa, work your magic.
Kent, thank you so much for that great intro. You are too kind, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Here we go. All right. So, hey everybody, just a quick intro. Yeah, Kent, like Ken said, I'm Lissa Blackaby Forsterer. Been in the agency world for all of my career except 1 year at Intel. And I love all things agency growth / biz dev / sales. So if you are in agency space, you are in B2B sales, which is all about relationships. And one of the things I'm going to talk about today is, post-COVID, things have changed a little bit. Some things are still true. Sales is basic numbers. Activity plus conversation plus equals opportunities and sales. That is still true, but what has really changed is how and where we show up. The days of being able to go to Nike campus and hang out and run into a bunch of prospects and clients, or at Intel, or pop in, drop off cookies to your client's office, those days are gone because of remote work. Sometimes we can still do that a little bit, but it's not what it was. And so the intent we have to do to build relationships in a different way is what we've all had to learn a lot of new things in the last few years. I have 5 of my top strategies and just things that I know in my past life have worked for me as I've helped grow agencies, led prospecting, led outbound, that have worked. And I'll just say it too, sales is hard. It's not easy. None of this is easy. So while I might make it seem like it's super simple, I know it's not, you all know it's not, but doing some of these activities that we can control, especially when there's so much in our world right now that we can't control, will serve you well to help grow your agency, retain existing clients, and grow existing clients. So here we go. Fish where the fish are. It's my most favorite phrase ever. If you're already with clients, they already know, love, and trust you and like you. Especially if you're working with large corporations, there's a lot of room to land and expand within those organizations. Taking advantage of that is super important, and it takes focus, it takes strategy, it takes effort to do that. Perfect example, when I worked with Intel over the years, we had a couple of groups that were my main clients. I didn't know a heck of a lot of other people and when we first started working together, but I started to really pay attention to who's on email reviews, who's joining conference calls or larger, meetings that I did not know, but I should probably know. I would make lists of names and emails and just, make note of that. And then after the call or after the meeting or after the event, follow up. Use that leverage of already being in the door, already being trusted and loved clients that can easily give you a nice recommendation and a blessing to have them work with you. Leveraging that is so important. I oftentimes will ask agency owners, like, are you really maximizing all your opportunities? And the answer is normally yes. But it really kind of, as I think about it, is kind of like, probably not really. And so again, a quick action is to let's do an audit of who do we know are in other groups, marketing groups, creative groups that are using agencies that we're not talking to. And let's introduce ourselves and reach out and try to get a call or a conversation going just to learn more about their role and if our agency could be a good fit. So this was one of my key strategies all day long to help grow clients like Intel, Nike, anybody where you had multiple marketing organizations. This is a really, really great way to just have immediate impact on your agency's revenue and to get to know more people and have more opportunities at that to bid on projects. The other part of this too is, especially with COVID and us being remote so much, having a relationship beyond the work at hand. So your account teams and agency owners, while they're taking care of the work at hand, making sure it's done right, are you creating time to have higher level conversations, even just a personal, nice, let's get to know each other more conversations? Super, super important to do, to just build that trust and loyalty that they have with you, and you get to know more about their world. How's their department doing? Is there a new, leadership change? Is there a new CMO coming in? What's that looking like for the next 6 to 12 months? New product launch dates. You have insight into things that are futuristic and opportunities for the agency to get ahead of the ball and already be proactive. As I say, I love 3 ideas on a page. Give your clients ideas all the time. They want it. They want to know you're thinking about their business. They want to know that you have ideas beyond, again, the work at hand. They also may not know, or they may have forgotten about other things that you do that you're not doing for them or with them. So being very proactive in having conversation, casual, not salesy, just getting to know, and then having nice suggestions of how you could even, make them more successful, make their team look better, do better and work. They always want that. They'll never say no to hearing ideas, I promise you. So that's my first. My second is nurturing your relationships. Number one thing, as we know in B2B sales, it's all about relationships. If you are an agency owner, if you're a sales rep, you're a pharmaceutical rep and you have a territory and you're calling on a finite number of people, you're in B2B sales. It's a one-on-one human type situation. Leveraging that right now in this current day and age, that is how business, it's always been done that way and even more so. So don't forget about leveraging and tapping into who you already know. I'm going to share a little story about my friend Kent Lewis, and where he so connected, 10,000 LinkedIn connections. This was like 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, and that was a very unique thing. I encouraged him to just reach out, sort your list of first connections, pick 20 VPs of marketing, send a quick note to say, hey, it's been a while. We haven't talked, we haven't checked in a while. Would love to find time to chat with you. Could we talk for the next few weeks? And he did that. I think his wording was a little bit different, but it was close to that. And lo and behold, he got conversations, he got opportunities to do proposals, and he got a new client just from doing that. So tapping into who you already know. LinkedIn, as we know right now, is huge. It's where business is being done. It's where you get to do kind of research and investigate your existing clients to figure out existing relationships. What have they been up to? Have they changed jobs recently? Did you not realize they changed jobs? Have they just announced that they're running a marathon? Like anything that gives you a reason and to reach out in a personal way, to check in. It's been a while. It's been 5 years since we've talked. Let's catch up. Oh my gosh, you just ran the marathon. That's cool. Ask for a conversation. You don't know, one, it's just nice to reconnect with people. So that's good. The other thing is, if they are in a marketing role or even someone you've known in your orbit, they are going to want to help you in any way, shape, or form. So maybe their team doesn't need what your agency does, or right now they're not in a moment to switch agencies. The fact that you've reconnected, you've expressed interest in wanting to help them and work with them, you become top of mind when they want an agency change. Otherwise, they forget about us, not intentionally, but clients and prospects, they get amnesia. They forget where we're at. They're worried about themselves, their own jobs, their own success, their own families. So reaching out in a kind way, it's not only just good energy for business, it's just good energy in general, just to, we work together, each other, stay in touch, be a part of that, community. I have a story about this that was one of my top career moments ever. When I was at an agency, Opus Creative, years ago, one of our project managers, seriously like 25 years ago, his first job at an agency, he was wonderful. He moved on to do great things in marketing on the client side. And you fast forward about 18 years and he's at Nike. And he and I stayed in touch loosely, once a year checking in, maybe, just not a lot, but enough. And he joined Nike. I knew he was there. We had checked in when he first started. He was busy ramping up on his new role and getting just his head put together at Nike. And we kept trying to have lunch and coffee, like 15 reschedules in. 15th reschedule, we finally stuck. We had lunch. And we had lunch and we talked about our kids and how is he and how's the family and how's his new job. And there's so much ramp up. And it was a lovely lunch about all those things. At the very end, he said, hey, I don't really know what your agency does, but I hate the agency I'm working with. I'm going to put it up for RFP. Do you guys want in? And of course I said, of course we want in. What are you RFPing? And he shared, and I was like, yes, we want in. That's gonna be a great fit. So he was like, great. And so I go back to the office to the owner of my agency and I said, hey, we're going to get in on this RFP. And the owner was like, we don't know how to do that. There's no way in hell we're going to do that. And I was like, oh, yes, we are. We're going to show up. We're going to go through it. We don't know. If we don't try, we're not going to know. So we did. We were one of 4 agencies that were in the RFP and review process. 2 were big boys. I will just say the big agencies. We were a small underdog. But because I had known him, I knew other people on the team in very junior positions as well, that my team, who were super smart, they had passion for what that product was in the brand. So it was definitely a team effort. But the fact that we got in the room, got to even be a part of those conversations, and we won the business. It was the biggest account of my life. It was the biggest account that agency had ever had. And it blossomed into a multi-7-figure account. All because I stayed in touch with one of my junior project managers from an agency 20 years prior. So when you think about relationships, it's not just people at your equal level out there, it's past employees, past clients, people you know from industry organizations, or if you volunteer together on a board. All of those things in business go so far because people want to help people. So the value of just staying in touch and knowing others and just being a good human out there, people will refer you, they'll recommend you, they'll talk about you in rooms you're not in, which is all leads to just business and success for us in sales. So I cannot talk about this topic more. I could talk about it for hours. Also, so let's talk post-COVID. So again, the intention were before we could kind of bump into people and be out and about and we got clients and it worked and it was fine. Since that's 50% not happening anymore, you have to intentionally build your network, especially your network of target new companies and people. Relying on the what's here today and not ever looking forward and building that new business pipeline of future opportunities, especially with cold contacts and companies. If you don't do that, as we all have experienced this last year or two, when Nike reorgs and lays off, when Intel reorgs and lays off, and you have half of your clients fired and walking out the door, and you're sitting there as an agency owner going, okay, what the hell am I going to do now? My revenue and income just dropped by 75%. That's a horrible place to be in. It's stressful, it's yucky. And so rewind to get ahead of that, intentionally building a network of people that are in roles at brands that you want to work with, that your agency has a right to win with, deep industry expertise, just desire from the client team. Someone, owner, yes, lead account people, yes, need to be constantly building a network. LinkedIn is where it's at today, as we all know. It is a fabulous place to lean in. Again, send personalized messages of connection requests, let alone a follow-up. Just get to know people, comment on their posts, like their posts, see what they're posting and talking about. Gently building that relationship, those all count as little touches. It's not about sending 5,000 emails. It can be an email, it can be a LinkedIn, it can be showing up if they're speaking on a panel and you attend. It can be industry events, again, that are coming back alive, show up where they're at. But having intention to build that net new and that new network of people that you haven't known for 20 years, getting yourself in the agency on their radar is so important, because people change agencies eventually at some time. They're going to want a new fresh set of eyes. You're going to want to change it up. Be top of mind when they want to do that is the goal for this. And it works. I have had opportunities, again, for my agencies past to go bid on work that if I had not done the LinkedIn connection, the couple cold emails, the couple of in-mails, that he finally forwarded on to procurement and got us on an RFP for Wolverine Worldwide, which was back east, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Portland, Oregon agency. They'd never heard of us. We got in that door. We didn't win the business, but who cares? We got to know those people. We got on, on their radar. I'm in touch with folks that were on that review committee, and you never know what might happen. And again, back to my original slide, sales is a numbers game. You cannot overdo too much of this. You just don't know when something's going to pop. And this is actually my most favorite and why my company is called what it is, outreach and follow-up. The days of one and done and that mindset of one and done, of one note, they didn't respond, they must not want to work with me, that's not true at all. The average stat right now is, I think, 8 to 12 touches to get a response. And that might be from someone you actually know. People are busy. They're inundated with messages. They may not see it. They may thought they responded and they didn't. Having a consistent, not aggressive, consistent doesn't mean aggressive. Consistent could be every 2 to 3 weeks if you're kind of nurturing a prospect. It could be longer for other reasons. Just by being consistent though, and touching them in different ways, email, like I talked about, LinkedIn. If your prospects and clients are on Instagram, touch them there, follow them there. But being consistent to check in, send a note, link to an article, recent case study that shows the success you had for another client that would be relevant to them. Consistent communication is king, and it's what makes the difference between someone trying to practically get a conversation versus not. Numbers game again. You've got to track this, whether you do a Google spreadsheet, you have a CRM, whatever you need to do to track. Here's my week. For my week, here's my 20 top follow-ups I must do that are all revenue generating activities. They all clearly will result in a conversation or opportunity for the agency. Dedicating that time to do it, just like brushing your teeth every day. I personally do it in the morning before the day takes off and we all get pulled in 5,000 directions, is my time to do outreach and follow-up. And again, this can be on emails. It could be looking at the top 20 people you're kind of tracking on LinkedIn. Have they posted lately? What have they been doing? That is so key. And I can't even stress enough, this is the most important thing one should be doing as an owner or lead account person in support of growth and sales and new business. It can be around cold. It can also be around your existing clients, whatever that might be. That leaning in, thinking about, observing what's happening with your people is key. I've had so many conversations with agency owners over the years where they're like, oh, I did all that and I did all these outreaches. And then this huge project came in. And then I realized it was 6 months later and I hadn't sent a note again. It's super common. It happens to all of us. So tracking it and just being committed to doing that on the daily, maybe every other day to start out. If you do this, again, you will always be having conversations around potential new work, just getting to know people. That's all the things to do to build that relationship. Just, talking to folks, conversation, activity, sales. And what you have to say, you don't have to be salesy. I use very gentle messaging in my outreach. And it's very kind. It's just asking to connect or have a conversation. It's always about them. I could have a whole hour around messaging on outreach and follow-up messaging. It's about them. It's not about your agency and how awesome you are. They don't give a shit. They want to know that you're thinking about them, observing the challenges they might be having in the market, observing challenges they may have because the way they're structured. Maybe they have an in-house team, maybe they don't. Maybe they're using agencies you're aware of, and you've heard word on the street that that's getting a little bit bumpy. Maybe, again, the relationship's not really working that well, which always happens eventually. Wyden and Kennedy loses accounts and they get fired. Michael Jordan didn't win every game. Tiger doesn't win every golf match. Always know that you don't know when that opportunity is going to be where you're going to be, luck and timing is going to hit and you're going to be top of mind. If you don't do the outreach and follow-up, you'll never know, you'll never get there. It kind of leads into now, don't make assumptions. Number 5, again, huge. I've talked to people where they're like, ooh, that client's horrible to work with. And I was like, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, well, so and so was there like, 5 years ago and it was shitty. And I'm like, okay, first of all, 5 years ago, guaranteed there's probably a new CMO. There's a whole new marketing team. Who knows why the experience was bad? Maybe it was the agency's fault. Maybe the client was just fine. Maybe the client were jerks. Who knows? Whatever it is, don't believe that. Let it go. Do not assume that's what it is today. Even if a client has said, which corporations will do, they'll lock down their vendor lists. Well, they maybe did a year ago, but now they're open for that again. If you don't ask, you won't know. Those beliefs that will get locked in our head about that, about clients being horrible to work with, about we'll never have a chance because they love so and so agency, that relationship could be souring. Again, if there's a people change, something could be going awry. Um, let that go. And also on job titles, this is one of my most important things too. Job titles are job titles. They can mean different things in different companies and different organizations. Um, don't assume that someone's title, if it's too junior, may not have any influence on what agencies are going to work with. I actually love to talk to junior people because they will tell you all the scoop about what's going on with existing agency relationships. CMO's not going to do that, and they're too busy. They probably don't want to talk to us anyway. But as you kind of go down a little bit, again, creating those conversations to just learn more about how's their world, how are they, celebrate their work, tell them how wonderful that last product launch was, who helped you do it. They'll tell you, again, finding out who are they already working with. Um, they may quickly go into they're amazing, we love them, or oh my God, they were great. And then Bob left, and now it's like been a hot mess and we don't even know what's going on. So and so super frustrated. This whole getting this mindset of not making assumptions, and you kind of fold that into the previous four topics I just talked about, will serve you so well. You don't know what's going to happen when you get on a call, get on a Zoom, meet someone for coffee. At the end of that conversation, a number of things may happen. One, they're moving into a new job that you didn't know about, and they're going to have control over the marketing budget. And hey, good timing. We just talked. Let me get settled. I want to pull you in and have you come meet the team. That happens to me a lot. The other thing is, you may hear that, again, there's going to be a reorg. The CMO's leaving. You don't know. They might be looking for a job. Offer to help them go find a new job. I've helped so many past clients go land somewhere else because I was asking, I was checking in, we were having conversations, served me well because wherever they went, they pulled us along. It was that relationship that was so powerful that they already trusted, knew, and loved me and the team, and they wanted to have that same relationship at their next job. I've also known of the junior people letting me know too, of like really like, again, right or wrong, whispering in my ear, like, here's really what the budget is. Here's really what you're up against. Here's really what their so-and-so is really the decider person of these 10 people. So-and-so, this is what's really the hot topic for them and what you guys need to really show up and make sure you can solve that problem. You will just learn so much. And again, just because someone's junior title doesn't mean they don't know a whole lot of information that they're more than willing to share with you. Usually they're doing that because one, they may already like, know, and trust you and they want to help you. Two, they just, a lot of times junior people don't feel empowered in their jobs. And the fact that they're going to be a part of this new agency selection and already have a relationship with the top people at the agency, that feels really good to them. They're then more part of the team. They're going to help them in their career and their position. So a lot around that. But again, don't make assumptions. And what you read in the news, again, ignore some of that stuff. You don't know how timely or accurate any of that is. Just go in open-hearted, open-minded when you meet with people to ask a lot of questions around, how are you? How's your world? How's your team doing? Are you guys happy, sad, neutral on your current agency partners? Because you're working with some great agencies, like how's it going? Asking questions all day long to learn as much information as you can about them, whether they're, again, a past client, a prospect you're kind of actively engaged in, or you're just kind of getting to know. Learn as much as you can about their world. it just sets you up for success to kind of do all those other things. You're going to come in with way more knowledge, way more confidence, and kind of know where your agency is going to have a great place to win. So that's it. My simple 5. Again, all of these could deserve a 2-hour conversation, but fish where the fish are: organic growth, maximize where you already at, what rooms you're already in, what clients you're already working with and are a vendor and all of that. Really ensure you're maximizing it. Nurture your relationships, build your network, outreach and follow up every day, and don't make assumptions. And if you want to chat more about any of this, here's how you can reach me. Email, I'm on LinkedIn all day long. Text me if you have my number. We'd love to chat.
Thank you so much, Lissa. That was extremely helpful and insightful. And we only have 1 or 2 minutes left, but I wanted to ask some questions. The first was about the proactive outreach. You touched on a few examples of how effective outreach strategies you've used to build trust and respect with your clients or your prospects. Are there 1 or 2 more ideas that come to mind that you think are particularly timely?
Yes.
With what's kind of going on with the election year and uncertainty with the turn in the market, et cetera.
Yeah.
Are there things that you messaging or
Yep.
tools or ideas that you will send over to show that you know and care and help build that
Yes.
trust?
Yes. When I send LinkedIn connection requests, I always have a specific commonality included in that message. For example, female-owned companies, owned agencies. I may go look at their LinkedIn profile, again, do some stalking, get my intelligence as to what are they all about. If they're a founder, owner, that is what I lead with. Hey, love that you're a fellow female business owner. We have lots of mutual, handful of mutual connections. Let's connect. That little first part, or it could be we're both at the same college. We both used to work at the same company. Anything you can find that's a little common thread of how you're connected. Maybe they're a B Corp and your agency is too. B Corp is huge, 1% for the planet. Anytime you can just have that in your messaging elevates the odds of them, 1, connecting, and 2, probably wanting to have a conversation with you, because it says right there you're a common mind, especially the B Corp 1%, anything mission driven right now is super powerful.
That's great, thank you. And 1 last question that I see here. So speaking from experience with pdxMindShare, 15 years of monthly networking events every 3rd Wednesday from roughly 2015 or so. It was a lot of work, but there was a lot of value. Even there were days when I didn't necessarily want to go, and I'm like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to meet some people, and it always was fruitful. But last year, I tried to resurrect and failed to resurrect the networking, the pdxMindShare monthly networking. I think people, it's kind of like you stop going to the gym, you'll never go back because you're embarrassed or whatever that's statistically shown. I feel like people have atrophied their ability to be physically face-to-face with people in a networking environment. So maybe they'll grab coffee or a meal, but any last parting thoughts about, getting in front of people at networking events face-to-face? Are they dead? Is there any tips you have there?
I do. So, and I think COVID again. So a couple things on that, Kent. People have scattered. They're working remotely and not in close proximity to their offices like people used to be. Like that was a big deal. You kind of lived at least somewhere close to where your office was. Your commute wasn't too crazy. I think the scattering of people during COVID has just scattered people from where you're having those networking events. Just a physical, like, I don't live in Portland anymore. I live in Hood River now. Like, I do not want to drive in on a Wednesday and go to a 4 o'clock thing. I think that's a huge part. I don't think it's because they're not interested. I think the logistics of getting to the event is an issue. I know for me personally, you just said the same thing. I love to go talk to people. I so much will be like, I don't want to get up and go drive to that thing. And then again, when I show up and go, I'm so thankful I went and it's all good. But I do think the COVID like really affected people's just the logistics of getting face-to-face is a reality. It's a very true thing. So what you're feeling is probably nothing to do with the goodness and value of what you're doing. It's how can they get there? i.e. then do you turn it into a different kind of virtual event? Can they show up in a different way? And that is the same as we kind of tied into prospecting. Showing up in a different way is what it's all about. The virtual showing up is needed, and you have to be comfortable with that. But face to face is always gold. I will never. It is. I will agree with that and bless that and promote that all day long. But the reality is, it's harder and harder to make that happen and to show up where the people are that you want to even talk to. So I think organizations do have a challenge with that, but I will say the need is probably still there. It's just how you're showing up and gathering has shifted. So
That
I've
makes
seen
sense.
I've seen groups also start Slack channels together. So the group is kind of now a Slack channel. The group
Right.
is now a Zoom, a LinkedIn Live or a Zoom event where we come together. So different ways of pulling the people together to share information and converse and talk has just shifted.
Right. Well, I agree. And I'm seeing that with Mindshare, with LinkedIn groups and other groups I'm in with Slack. And so it's a new digital hybrid age. I get it. And we are out of time. So I want to thank you so much, Lissa, for your time and expertise. I hope our viewers and listeners will take advantage of your 30-minute sales strategy call. Invaluable. I can validate that Lissa's insights have been invaluable and calculable for my career and my business. So with that, thank you, Lissa, and we'll hope to see you at a future Mindshare event.
Yes. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.